Do you want to get sober but can't figure out how to stay stopped? Well, I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons that might be happening to you. And then I'm going to give you the solution that changed my life. My name's Corey. I'm an alcoholic. And thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like it. Send this video to someone who might need it. But I really appreciate you. So I spent the first probably 5 years of me trying to get sober, relapses. It was like I could string together a week, maybe a month, maybe even a couple months, but I'd always run back to the bottle and I couldn't figure out why. I'd hear of people who would have years, 5 years, 10 years, even 30 years sober. And I felt like that was so unachievable. There is no way that I could ever do that. And sometimes I would go drink just based on the fact that it felt like I was a lost cause, but I wasn't. So I started putting in a bunch of work trying to figure out what is it about my situation that I keep relapsing and other people are finding success. And I came up with these top 5 reasons why I kept going back to the bottle. Number 1, I was keeping alcohol too close. And I know that might confuse you. It's not that I had alcohol in my fridge. It's not that there was a liquor bottle buried in my freezer. It's that I never left the environment. I'd still go out with the same drinking buddies to the same bar. I would do all the same things I did when I was drinking, but I'd be white knuckling it. I'd watch everybody else drink, have fun. And at that point, I felt like I was missing something. I felt left out. I felt alone. I felt weird. I felt different. And if you do that for enough time, well, eventually I drank. Number 2, I always tried to do it alone. I always felt like I got this. I can do this. I don't need support groups. I don't need all these fellowships and AA and NA and all this stuff. I can do it. I'm strong enough. But me trying to do it alone always took me back to the bottle. When I finally got to the point of defeat and I allowed other people in and I went to meetings and I found other people that were like me, that could relate to me, I started to feel better, like I wasn't alone. It gave me a fellowship of people to lean on when I was struggling, people that understood what it was like. Left to my own, I can't do it. But with others around me, holding me up sometimes, I found a whole bunch more success. Number 3, I still thought that maybe I wasn't that bad. I compared myself to people who were a whole lot worse. See, maybe my drinking didn't end up in a car wreck or in a jail cell, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't headed that direction. One of the worst things that I did is I compared myself to other people who had it worse than me, because that comparing led me back to drinking every single time. Just because you haven't hit that bottom yet, you don't need to continue down that hole. You can get off that elevator at any time that you choose. And number 4, I constantly had drinking on my mind. If I was home, I was thinking about drinking. If I was out at a restaurant with my wife, I'd look over at the table next to me. There'd be somebody with a beer in their hand and my mouth would start watering. I'd be thinking about beer, or I'd be thinking about my buddies going out. Drinking was always on my mind. It felt like an obsession. And when it's always on my mind, if I obsess about it long enough, I'm going to end up acting on it. And that took me back to the bottle time and time and time again. And number 5, and I think that this is one of the most important pieces, we chase the effect of alcohol in different ways. Now, maybe it's lust, maybe it's gambling, maybe it's whatever the case may be, whatever our vice is, whatever it is that we like to do, we take it to the extreme, and some of those things are not healthy. So I substitute alcohol for something that's going to give me some other type of relief. Well, alcohol numbed all of this crap in my life. That's why I liked it. So if I just go find a substitution, that substitution's only going to work for so long before I want the real thing. And that would always take me back to the bottle. So those are my top 5 reasons why I continued to go out and I couldn't stay stopped. But now let's focus on the solution. The trick is not stopping, it's replacing. When I can start replacing some of those old habits and replacing alcohol with something healthier, well, that's when I can put together years of sobriety. So what I did is I started to replace old unhealthy friends with new healthy friends that I met at some of these support groups that we were talking about. I replaced old venues with new healthy sober venues, and I found that I wasn't triggered as frequently. I started to keep my mind busy in healthy ways, reading, working out, whatever the case may be, so I didn't just sit around and obsess over alcohol over and over. Once I made life changes, environmental changes, internal changes, friendship changes, Then I started to realize how somebody could put together a year or 5 years or even 30 years. Since that point, I've been able to put together over 10 years of sobriety living by that principle. So I encourage you, if you're struggling to stay sober and these things ring a bell, if you're still going around the same places, still hanging out with the same friends, still constantly thinking about drinking, using other crutches to be able to fill that hole, different vices so that you're not drinking, but you're still doing something to numb, to escape, I would encourage you to look at making some changes. It's not about stopping, it's about replacing. If you want to live your best life, start by putting the alcohol down. And if you want to quit drinking, hit me up. I'll do it with you. Peace.